Alright. Still fighting with this, but I'll find it online then, so we can talk while I try and figure this out. I want to play a new game tonight, and the OBS isn't picking up the window for some strange reason. I thought it was because I was streaming, but it's not that. For some reason, it's not even catching my cursor on the window. It's very weird. So I'm sorry about that. It's technology being technology and messing with me. Yeah, definitely a mulligan. I want to play some Project Zomboid tonight, but the window doesn't want to capture. It is very annoying. Very, 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 very annoying. Anyways, we can have a chat while I try to figure this out. Not even showing my cursor in the game, which is very weird. Let's try that again. Good evening, John. And yes, technology always waits for the worst possible time to fail. Mackenzie, hope you're doing well. At least we've got some chill beats happening. The throat's doing okay today. We've upped the resistance for the voice physio, and it's doing well. I know this is all exciting. Ah, there we go. Right, now I can see my cursor. That's definitely a win. Being able to see the cursor. Options. Let's go with borderless window. Apply. Yes, we'll keep that. Accept. Right. So, haha. Project Zomboid. Yay! Sorted it out. Kinda. Now I can concentrate a bit more on chat. Right. I'm glad that helps in your afternoon, John. I really am. It seems with the stutter in the stream, we've lost quite a few viewers. We were up to like 30, and then it went down, and then they haven't come back. Hopefully with time. That's very weird, James. I stopped the first stream because I thought it was the streaming software giving me a problem with connecting to the game that I was playing. So I just quickly stopped the stream so that I could fiddle with settings. It didn't help. But there you go. Now we're here. We've got everything going. Let me just double check that everything is going. Yes, everything is going, but all my settings have reset for the stream, so that's nice. Alrighty, I think that is the YouTube stream set up again. Technology, what a wonderful waste of time. Yeah, it was just a very weird thing. It wasn't connecting to the game, so I couldn't share my screen for some reason. So I thought I would try get it with the ending the stream so that I could change settings, because some settings you can't change while stream's going, but apparently I was wrong. Product placement. Water with stuff in it, which is basically most liquids that we drink. Good evening, Colin. Hope you're doing well. Right. There we go. Project Zomboid. Fair enough, James. Fair enough. So, for those of you who haven't played Project Zomboid, I played it an excessive amount. It is a zombie survival game. And you do zombie survival stuff. I've got an ant crawling up my leg. Fantastic. So, it's one of those games that's kind of difficult to get into because there's just so many choices. But once you get into it, it's pretty solid. So, pick the starting area. I'm going to go with my personal settings, which is insane zombie count, because, you know, why not? Everything else is decent except for the helicopter event happens on a regular basis, which will make sense during the game. And the loot rarity is extremely rare. It's not the top setting of insanely rare, but just pretty rare. Other than that, it is pretty much standard with just lots of population. We're going with a burglar. Actually, don't want that. I want... got 4 points. I think we'll go with baseball player. Dum dum. Very, very, very dramatic. Just give me 1 second. Right, back. Just had to deal with an errant ant. I think we shall turn this music down just a smidgen. And there we go. We are playing. Which will be fun streaming this because I can't really pay 100% attention to the game. Which is normally good. I suppose we could always just go back to, hello? Oh, Now it's not. Okay. Doing weird stuff. Okay, we won't be streaming this game. Seems to be giving... It's showing as paused. Go back to full screen. Probably will only start narration work again in a couple weeks. I only started physio for the voice last week, Monday. So we haven't done too much of that. I mean, you can still see the scar here from the surgery. And I'm seeing the doctor again in 2 weeks from now. So there's that. Yes, it is a PC game. It was just not listening. For some reason, it's not interacting with the OBS very well. So we'll play a different game. Thank you, Dustin. Much appreciated. Snipers, good evening. Hope you're doing well. The Dying Titan, good evening. Oh, good luck to her, James. Well, that's not good, Stephen. I'm glad you pulled through. Yeah, I think it's all thanks to the surgeon, Kandaria. More than me. But yes, it's getting there. Okay, I mean, I've heard that stints are quickly, you can recover from them quite quickly. So, fingers crossed. I know my dad had it done in his leg, because he had a blood clot in his leg. So they put a stint in, pulled the clot out. It was good to go. I'm definitely feeling a bit better, Marshall. Getting there. Fair enough. I mean, considering what the alternative is, 6 months is not too bad. Yeah, I mean, anesthesia, when you go full under, it takes a toll on the body. One that you don't really fully appreciate until it happens to you. Sort of saps your stamina away in a way that's really... You think you're okay, and then all of a sudden, you're just not. Okay. We got the team together. Now we can go do the quest. Well, the excessive self-pleasurer would probably be it. Or the horny self-pleasurer. Thank you, Neko. Much appreciated. We're definitely getting there. I estimate that judging by the recovery this week, that maybe a week or two and we'll be back to doing some recording. Definitely won't hit the normal quantity per day, but at least if we can start, that's good. Fair enough, Dustin. As long as it makes your day easier, I am not going to complain. We're getting there, Randy. We're getting there. Problem is a very big difference between just like conversational talking like this and voice work. So I definitely want to give it a bit more time before I push it too much. Cheers, James. Hope everything goes well. Thank you for popping by. Sometimes it's a mistake, sometimes it's not. Very much depends. I don't think it's something you should rush into, but I don't think it's something you shouldn't do at some point. Unfortunately, the algorithm does call for a sacrifice of monumental proportions, so I need to get back to work sooner rather than later, but thankfully the streams help, both in keeping the algorithm happy and exercising the voice. Thank you, Mew Mew. Much appreciated. That is very true, James. Very true. Already almost at 60, 50, 50. Yes, numbers, hard. 50 viewers. Awesome. That is true. I should probably show the game. There we go. Give me a second. I'm still doing something weird. There we go. Now it's actually showing proper stuff. Just one of them days, I suppose. Is today Monday? Today is Monday. As if I needed to look at the calendar to figure that out. Thank you, Amber. Much appreciated. Very true, the Dying Titan. Very true. Yep, definitely nice, relaxing, lo-fi music to listen to me ramble and kill countless game characters. Well, I'm glad you managed to pull through without too much of an injury, Neko. Thank you, Kandaria, for popping past. Much appreciated. Hope you have a fantastic day. It's okay. I mean, I think a ARPG is more built around the end game than leveling. But the leveling experience has been fine. And then when we get to the end game, then we can see if it truly is. I've tried PoE several times, and I don't know. The camera angle just puts me off. I think I had a Founders Pack back in the day. I could just never get fully into it. Amber, yeah, this is a ARPG, so pretty much like Diablo. Kill lots of stuff, find shiny objects, get dopamine hit. I don't think it's sci-fi. I think it's just mostly just a different theme. It's fantasy based with bits of tech in it, so more steampunky, maybe. It just got out of early access in the last couple of months, so yeah. The fact that it got out of early access is an achievement in and of itself, seeing as most games seem to languish in open access hell. Open access? Early access. Where they just don't ever seem to move beyond that. True. I haven't heard, I think it's shut down, isn't it? City of Heroes. I knew quite a few people that played it in the day. Well, I think AAA developers just use early access as free beta testers. Well, not even free beta testers. Beta testers that pay you to test the game. And I do agree that it should be limited to indie titles or smaller studios. Yeah, streaming does that. Where one day one game is super popular and then next day it's back to obscurity. Yeah, I think it's also, the influencer market. I want to play the same game as the guys that I watch on the stream, so if they're streaming X, I'll play X. But I suppose from that you do get new fans entering into old games. I mean, there's game dev careers that have been made off of streamers. It's those Rage games, those all made by the same guy. Basically made popular by streamers. Thank you, Mew Mew. I hope you have a great day.
And you... What? Damn it. You know... I what? Who cares about that? I'm a steel dragon.
Fair, excuse me. Fair enough, Rhino. I can agree with that. You either have time or you have money. Rarely do you have both. Well, I decided this would be my streamer build because I don't need to do much. Just make sure my summons stay up and I can interact with chat. You guys. And my army can do all the hard work. Very true, Harleymore. Very true. Thank you, Catsport79. I'm definitely getting there. Still be a week or two before I start recording, unless I decide to do it earlier, which is always an option, I suppose. But we're getting there. Voice is under a bit more strain today than it was yesterday because we upped the resistance today, which just means more water in my special water bottle of voiceness. My invoicing bottle. Yep, definitely alien bottle tech upgrade. Thankfully it doesn't cost too much, you know, just your future. Kill him. Kill him dead. Sometimes. But I think with this, the problem is there are too many to really give them a name. But if you had like one really powerful summons, I could see giving it a name. Well, I've personally found in my, well, currently, I'm not really into multiplayer games, MMOs, or anything like that. So, something different from my youth where I played almost exclusively MMOs. But it's nice just to be able to pause a game if you need to pause it. Catpaw79, it's called Last Epoch. I would love to say that it is listed below the description, but who knows what YouTube is doing. It's Monday. Could be anything. The fact that I'm streaming at all goes to show that we're beating Monday. Not by much, but we're beating it. Just a little bit. It's the same genre as Diablo. Which is action, role-playing, hack and slash, whatever you want to call it. I think it's on sale at the moment, or was recently on sale. I'm not entirely sure. I bought this game when it was in early access, so I'm not even sure what the current price is. Or if it changed at all. Yes, definitely Moon Day. Talking about hydration, let's do a little bit of... There we go. Yeah, very much. You are number 3. Congratulations. Your mission is to be better than number 4, but not quite as good as number 2. Go forth and cry havoc.
The lance.
It's good. It's engaging enough to play, but not engaging enough that I have to solely focus on it and ignore you guys. I can have a nice chat. Let my summons do what summons do. What do you mean by longer stories, Colin? I do everything between 10 and 30 minutes at the moment. Unless you're talking about series, which is thousands of hours, or hundreds of hours. The thing you've also got to remember is I've only got so many hours that my voice can narrate in a day. So doing one really long story might be great. It just means I can't record anything else. Good evening, Bob. I hope you're doing well. Thank you, Will W. No. I decided to let them be free. I wasn't going to constrain them because they might murder me in my sleep. I mean, they're devious. You never know what they're going to do.
We have the lance.
Don't care.
The lance was found.
Still don't care. I try to keep the playlists up and ready. It's just, I think there's over 100 playlists on the main channel, and at some point it gets a bit much. Especially seeing as YouTube doesn't make it obvious that you can expand the playlist section to see all the playlists in chronological order. So, yeah. It gets a bit muddled with 100 playlists. I think I skipped it so fast I crashed the game. Let's see if it does anything. Captain Spanky, I'm doing good. I'm glad you're here. I hope you're having a good evening. I'm glad Pat's paused. Gaming setup is PC that's not on fire and big screen. 5950 AMD with a 3060 Ti and 64 gigs of RAM. Yeah, as far as I remember, it's been a while since I've actually checked. No, 5900X Ryzen 9 CPU. Well, not the 5950, because I didn't have that in stock when I ordered them. Yes, physical memory 64 gigs, because boy, does editing software love to destroy one's RAM. Interesting thing. Yep. I think I broke the game. I skipped that cutscene so fast I broke time. It's funny. Close window. Okay, you get the full screen me as well. No, there's a full screen me. You can see when I tried to relaunch the game. So the audio software I use, which is Audible, not Audible, Audibly, Audacity. Doesn't use anything except RAM for its processing, so it is a RAM hog of note. Well, that's true as well, Will W. I bought so much RAM and then also got Windows Professional to utilize that RAM, so that the Audacity could work without problems, which hasn't really helped too much. We are back. Hopefully to after the cut screen. Cut scene, not cut screen. Well, I suppose it's both basically the same. I don't think it registered that I skipped the cut screen. Now I'm going to have to do it all over again. Good evening, Georgie. I hope you're doing well. Oh, wait, it did. Cool. I don't have to skip it again.
I know things are grave.
Don't care.
All that is left is to take the lance and bless it.
Bless you. There you go. It's blessed. Can we skip it? It'd be funny if a staff sneezed, because then it'd be easy to get it blessed. Yes, that's true. The cutscene definitely did happen afterwards. You. I don't really care about any of the other stuff too much. Should I care about the other stuff? What do we got here? Sword axe thingy. I don't care. What is that? That's offhand. Don't care. Helmet. Don't care. Yeah, don't really care about most of this stuff.
Yes.
Fair enough, Jace. Sometimes the algorithm doth work in mysterious ways. Although, if you find one of our channels, you tend to find most of the others. Whether that's Net Narrator or Amy or Zren. I am live on YouTube as well, Semi. Dual streaming, because we have the technology. Harley, it is 600 stories between, I think, if I remember correctly. It's from 700, TFOS 700 to TFOS 1200. I keep meaning to go back and edit the next 1,000 videos to remove the intro and outro so that I can upload it to the website. But every time I think about editing 1,000 videos, I'm like, I'd rather play a computer game. I'd rather watch grass grow. I'd rather step on broken glass. But at some point, I will edit those videos down to remove the intro and outro and then slap them up on the stream. Probably won't do anything before 700 because that's when I started with the text. So there's that. That's weird. I mean, it's weird that it changed. Well, yesterday people were saying it was about 2 seconds. I mean, 5 seconds is still doable. It means the chat is still relevant. Health, fitness, we're getting there. It's very hard to tell. Even though I am talking, I'm not pushing my voice to the extremes of voice acting or narrating. So I think I'll only appreciate the full length of the surgery or full benefits of the surgery once I'm recording again. But there's definitely a change. I think my normal voice is a little bit deeper, just a touch, a little bit more gravelly, just a touch, but the range is there. I mean, I discovered a new voice. I don't know whether I'm going to use the voice. I don't know whether I can consistently use the voice, but there are new voices happening, which is good. The question is how much strain they put on my voice overall, which I'll only know once physio's finished. Yes, definitely rather walk over 100 meters of Lego. Semi, every little bit helps. I will not complain about that. Thank you, Health. I mean, I'm working within what the doctor has said. So, we did a full scope when I went to go see him last week, Monday. Which is fun in itself. Gotta say. 2 scopes, in fact, to look at the vocal cords. They are doing better. The partial vocal cord paralysis has been corrected. So it's just about building up stamina again in those muscles. And building up stamina for the first time in the muscles that were partially paralyzed. So that's what we're doing at the moment. Yeah, I mean, sure, in a normal video you want outros and intros, but in the 24-hour live stream, it'll get a bit much. So the 24-hour live stream, I try to streamline it so it's just story to story to story. I won't obviously cut out the credits for normal videos, but I think for the live stream, having intros and outros for every video, 24/7 hours, all of that stuff, does become a bit much. Fair enough, Reverse Viking. A D4 dice would definitely not be fun. Stepping on that. But you must also admit that it would depend on the Lego piece, because some of those bad boys are quite sharp as well. So 2 nights ago, I was just cataloging my voices to see where they were. You know, not too hectic or anything. So I pushed it a bit to see the range, because that's one of the things the doctor was interested in is, you know, the range. So that's where I came up with the new voice, which is very much well outside of what I was able to do before the surgery. But I view it as part of my recovery process, which is learning how to use my old voices again, which is relatively easy. And then start with some new voices. Renegade, the problem with all of that was I had 5 or 6 intros that I cycled through, and then my channel got demonetized. The whole channel, not the videos, just the entire channel got demonetized. And at first it was because Net Narrator got demonetized at the same time, and a bunch of other narrators got demonetized at the same time for whatever. They made a change to the bot. But when it detected the first problem, which was the same as everybody else's for my channel, then it investigated the videos more. And the intro and outro was too long. So it fell into reused content. So I had to shorten the intro and to make sure that the outro could stay the way it is. So I probably won't be doing stuff like excessive intros again, because I'd like my channel monetized. and YouTube doesn't give you specific rules for lengths and stuff. So we'll keep it like that. No, I've got a list of voices. Trying to... The voices in my head can speak in whatever way they want, but the voices I was talking about, these voices. Lord Giblets, yep, we're definitely getting there. Shh. Cell phone. Alarm. Reminding me to do something. I think it's reminding me to post my patron video that I recorded today. I just haven't stopped the alarm. Harley, I've always said to everybody who donates to me to look after themselves and their families before they worry about me and my family. So, if I fully understand, I do not expect it. The chunky chapters don't include much of the TFOS. The chunky chapters mostly include series. Because the chunky chapters of TFOS don't really do that well. Look, you'd have to have more than 2 brain cells in your head to have more than 2 voices in your head. So, at the moment, I'm just stuck with 1 voice. J. Kurt, 2 months ago, just before the surgery, I noticed that Roltz put all his work up on Amazon, and he signed up for their AI voice program. In signing up for that program, you sign an exclusivity agreement with Amazon. So to avoid any potential problems, I removed the content. The reason why the chunky ones were around for so long is because I forgot they existed until somebody reminded me. So unfortunately, it is gone, but they are all available on Amazon under Behold Humanity. I think that's what they're called on Amazon. Don't worry, Captain Spanky. I've been trying to keep in the loop with monetization stuff since that happened. This was 2 years ago, 3 years ago now. I don't know. So, yeah. It's scary when you realize that just, one bad day away from having your entire channel demonetized. But we're not demonetized now, so we keep on keeping on. Cheers, health, fitness. I hope you have a good day. Shadiko? Yes, I did have surgery. Yeah. It was my second voice surgery. It was to correct partial vocal cord paralysis that I got at some point. We don't know when. It could have been before I started the channel. Could have been during the channel. We don't know. Basically, there was nerve damage in my upper range. So you have 2 sets of muscles that control your voice, which is lower range, upper range. I'm sure there's technical terms. My lower range was fine. My upper range was partially paralyzed. So the operation last year was to see if it could be fixed using filler. And the operation, which was temporary filler, lasted only a couple months. And the surgery from 2 weeks ago, was a permanent filler that they put into the throat so that the vocal cords close properly on the upper range. So that's basically what it was. I think that could definitely be a problem, Viking. Jace, the Nature of Predators is finished at the moment, as far as I know. I know you started the second book, but I will state that I will not narrate the second book until it is almost finished, if not finished. Otherwise, we end up with those breaks in between. So now that I know that he's doing it in book format, I'll wait until he's closer to the end, which I would imagine would be like 150 chapters of book 2. Then I'll start. And that's also, obviously, after I recover, and as long as he hasn't signed an agreement. Shadiko, we hope so. All the signs after the surgery prove that we are on the right track. Once the swelling's down, which it is, and the physio is finished, we should be able to do more voices, more consistently. Well, from my cataloging the other night, I have at least 20 voices. I might be forgetting some and I didn't catalog them properly, but it should be about 20. I want to push it up to more. It would be awesome if I could get closer to 50. Thank you, Captain Spanky. I hope you have a great evening as well. Pretty much. Talk 1187. The operations were also quite different, and I can understand now. So the first operation, they went in through the mouth. And let's go with a full screen me. There we go. So they leave it the mouth open. They got to the vocal cords with a really snaky-like injection, and they went and filled it up with a bit of filler. This time, they slit my throat, drilled holes in my vocal cords, and then put the filler in that way. And the reason why they did that is because it's permanent. They want to make sure that it's 100% right. So I was awake during the operation. Awake. They had me on a major sedative, but if they needed to speak to me, they'd wake me up, because I would just drift off to sleep because I was stoned out of my bracket, and they'd ask me to talk. And it was quite funny. So I was lying there. All I could see was lights in front of me. And the doctor would do something in my throat because I can't see what's happening here. And I can't really feel what's happening because, local anesthetic. And he'll say, okay, hum for me like this. And he'd give me an example, then I'd hum. And then you do something here. And he'd say, hum for me, and I'd hum. He says, good. Hum like this, and he'd go up in pitch. And I'd go up in pitch, he's like, needs a bit more. And then he'd go in and tweak it a bit and all of that. So that during the operation, he could tell that the filler was working before he closed everything up and it became permanent. But I had the doctor laughing because when I saw him after the operation, I said, look, you're one of the few people in the world that can say that they tuned a fat middle-aged man like a piano, which is basically what they did. No. The only channels that I have are Agro Squirrel Narrates, Agro Squirrel Series, and ASN Random Stuff. Those are me. Anybody else is not me. Look, with the goofy drugs that they had me on, it really wasn't that bad. Very much will W. Harley, this would be 3-4 months ago, I split the channel, because I had series and one-shots on the main channel. And I decided that we've reached the point where it made sense to split them up. So people who want series can go to the series channel. People who want one-shots can go to the one-shot channel, and people who want both can go to both. So now people aren't being bombarded with videos that they don't necessarily want. I did, but there's only 4 videos on that channel. It was an experiment, a writing thing. I think I posted there 4 or 5 months ago, which was, what did I call it? It's basically the SCP channel. The acronym is the SCP channel. I'm glad it's helped, Shadiko. Eric, yeah, I mean, real life does push me to start recording soon. But I am trying to work. I don't want to do this again. So we're going to go through this the right way, where we're going to do the recovery the way we're supposed to. But, yeah. So I'm seeing him again in 2 weeks' time. Today, we upped the ante. So here's my physio, is this bottle. Last week, it was up to this point. This week, we added another level of water, so it adds more resistance. Next week, we go up 1, and so forth. It sounds stupid. It makes me look like a child blowing bubbles in water, but it works. Jerry V? Yes, it was a kind of play on that. So, what I wanted to do with that channel, the sort of SCP channel, was to imagine that you were a YouTuber, like a crime YouTuber, in that world. So you don't know SCP Foundation exists, you don't know anything about SCP. So all you have is unsolved crimes. So I wanted to make it a crime and investigation channel where the assailants were actually SCPs. So that was the idea, but it didn't really take off. Shadiko, I am from South Africa. I'm first generation South African. My dad is British, my mom is Scottish. I'm glad it helps Cat's Ball. The problem is adding writing into a weekly thing is just a bit of excess work. So, I mean, the channel is not just myself anymore. It's myself and my wife. My wife does the editing. I do the social stuff and the recording. And between the two of us, we really didn't have the excess time to be writing full-length SCP stories based off that concept. So, but that was the idea. The problem is, you're always fighting against SCP channels, and there are a lot of them, and most of them are a lot bigger than my channel, my SCP channel. I don't even think it has 1,000 subs. I'm glad, Gregory. So, Nature of Predators gets an award specifically for one thing. It's one of the few long-running web series that has a proper ending. It's not continuous, and the author didn't give up. So, we're good. Story comes to a nice conclusion. I think it's a nice, satisfying conclusion. Most of the loose ends are tied up, which is pretty cool. Which doesn't really happen a lot on your long-running series. Web series. I'm glad that it helps, Eric. You'd be surprised at how many series don't get that far. Well, and I understand it. Most people start writing when, especially a long-running series, when they've got lots of spare time. And then life happens and you've got bills to pay. So you pay the bills rather than writing, because very few people can write to a point where it is their living. I think platforms like Royal Road, and to a lesser degree HFY, help with that, in combination with PayPal and Payoneer and Ko-Fi. or coffee, or however you want to pronounce it. So, yeah, I mean, it definitely does help. I know Roltz, Bloodthorn, that's author of First Contact, his Patreon allows him to do it as a profession because he earns enough through Patreon to pay for everything. So he doesn't have to necessarily do much more than that. Well, it's all about learning. Read enough stories, read up some grammar, and you should be golden. I'm not a great writer, but I think my story from a little while back was okay. Well, as far as I know, Harley, it is his profession at this moment, because he does also have a Patreon. So it has pros and cons. Thank you for the kind words, Reverse Viking. There are so many tools to help with grammar and the like these days that everybody can make a valiant attempt. And when push comes to shove, you can find an editor. Okay, I need to go grab something from the kitchen. I shall be right back. So I'm going to leave you with Chair-kun, right here, this bad boy over here. It's going to keep you entertained for the next couple minutes while I fetch... What do I want to fetch? A thingy. So, I shall be right back. Chat amongst yourselves. Alright, back with cheese. Yay, cheese. Right, what did I miss? So if you join something like the HFY Discord, they have a writers section where other writers can help you edit your work. I think there are other servers that offer the option for free, but, you know, it's free, so you have to take what they say with a pinch of salt. Writing is something you need to have practice at, or creative thinking. So you don't necessarily have to write, You can build stories in your head. And then that helps as well. See? Look, it's a wax-covered bit of cheese. A little itty-bitty wax wheel. Of, I think, cheddar. Jamansky, I can understand that. After working in corporate, I would write stories in the style of corporate, and it just doesn't work. But, I mean, give it enough time, and learning from your mistakes, you should be able to do it fine. Gonna eat. Sorry about that. I didn't want you to hear me chewing, so I muted the microphone. Great green goo. Everything is going as well as can be expected. And we can go back to the game. Yes, I mean, definitely would. But you also get different baby bells. There's a blue one. Not sure what it is. Right now I'm thinking of maybe doing them on a Saturday, but I'll have to see. Yeah. If people could hear me chewing when I was a kid, I would get a hiding, so I try not to chew loudly or be heard. And don't worry, this was many, many years ago. It wasn't child abuse, it was just normal. That would be funny, Paul. That would be funny. My wife just generally buys these ones. Which I must admit, yes, it is good because cheddar would be much stronger. Also, would be a lot harder to chew. Well, I hope you enjoy Cats Paw. It is definitely, there's probably 100 hours of content there, plus minus. So definitely some decent time in there. Well, I wouldn't quite say beating, I would just say hiding. Because that's what it was. But yeah, as for continuing the streams, we'll have to see. Because Friday nights I play... Yeah, it's definitely getting there, James. Friday nights I go and I play Magic the Gathering at my local LGS. There is much screaming and shouting and all of that stuff. And I get to bed quite late, which all of these things affect the voice the next day. So that's why I don't generally record on a Saturday. Because the voice is recovering from the Friday. So if any time it would be a Saturday stream. But we'll have to see how the voice does once it's fully recovered. Shudiko, I'd say a couple weeks before I can start with the first narrations. And that's going to be TFOS. I'm not going to make any allusions to it. I'll probably start with slightly shorter TFOS, so 10 minutes. Build up the strength and stamina, because this just strengthens my normal voice, doesn't strengthen the alternate voices I do. So we'll start off with recording one video a day, building up strength, recording 2 videos a day, building up strength, recording 3 videos a day until I'm back to the point where I was before the surgery. So this could be a multi-month thing, depending on how the voice feels after recovery and once I start recording. Bloomburrow looks cool. I think I've ordered all the commander decks and a collector booster. MM3, I've definitely ordered the commander decks. I don't think I've ordered the anything else. Thunder Junction, I've got the commander decks and 1 box, I think. I like to collect. That's why there was one point videos of me opening product on the series channel as background footage. Oh, I also like building decks, but having all the quote-unquote commander staples is pretty cool. I don't like wanting to build a deck and then having to go buy an individual card. I would like to have them all so I can build whatever deck I want. This is a pipe dream. I'll probably never get to that point, but you never know. So, I hope that answers the question. I do like the chill streams. They're nice. And, I'm very proud of myself, I must admit. The last 2 streams, I've managed to not swear enough to get my streams limited. So they do earn ad revenue, which is nice. So, hopefully we can keep that up. And stop getting my videos demonetized. Not really, Gregory. Every time I've ever thought of getting into Warhammer, I've been put off either by the cost or just the sheer stuff I have to learn. Because, I mean, I learned Magic the Gathering when I was a teenager, so... And I stopped for a very long time. Started again 2 years ago. So I didn't have to learn from scratch. I kind of knew what I was getting into. Whereas Warhammer, I don't know anything, so I'd have to start from scratch. And other than like playing games on PC with Warhammer. So I'm a bit of a deckaholic. When I go to Friday Night Magic, I go with 10 decks. 1 precon, 6 decks of various strength, and 3 CDH decks. A deck for every occasion. Nice. That's about when I started playing as well, Will. About 95, 96 when I first started playing. And then that was like all my pocket money went to it. I was playing with photocopied cards because I just couldn't afford it. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And then I played again in high school for a little while, and then didn't play it again for 20 years. Didn't have the time or money to play up until recently, where I've made time, because Friday night is now my go outside and meet people, not internet stuff. So I go there to talk shit and play games, which helps. You know, it's nice and relaxing. I use the Game Genic Xenoskin thingamabobby. And then each deck is in its own little, either an Ultra Pro 100 Plus or a Game Genic 100 Plus. Unfortunately, the nice Game Genic ones, they are a bit chonky. So you can't fit 10 of them into the Xenoskin. So I put my CDH in the Game Genic stuff, and then my non-CDH into the Ultra Pro. So there you go. I do remember Pogs as well. No, as far as I know, they did actually catch them. I wasn't that. They were caught in CCTV camera. But I could be wrong. Yes, but it's fun to do it in person. There's a line between abusive language and talking shit. It's also just getting out the house. So I work from home, obviously, as a YouTuber. So I leave the house once a week, which is, yeah, sad. Because I don't have to leave the house at any other time. It's not that I'm an agoraphobic or anything like that. So it really is just to get out the house once a week to meet people, have fun. You know, the usual stuff. Yeah, so I tend to double sleeve, so I use the Dragon Shield or KMC inner sleeves and Dragon Shield outer sleeves. Yeah, good banters. And that's like the main reason.
We have a problem.
When I started getting back into Magic again, it was after I was first diagnosed with all the voice problems. So, I mean, at that point, I could barely raise my arm above my head because it was so sore. My neck was trashed beyond belief. I could barely stand up straight because of my bad chair. And my voice was just horridly messed up. So went to the doctor, and that's when I was diagnosed with the acid reflux, which affects the vocal cords, and then with the vocal cord paralysis. But at that time I was like, yeah, okay, I can afford to take 1 day off a week. So that's what I did, and I decided to spend it on Magic the Gathering, and I don't regret it. I would not put it past Hasbro to try pull that stuff, quite honestly. Fair enough, Rhino. I can understand that. It is currently 7:30. So we work on GMT +2. And we don't have load shedding. We always have load shedding. We don't have daylight savings time. So that means we don't shift our clocks ever. So +2 all the time. I personally think that Hasbro is in a lot of trouble. And we're going to see some serious shenanigans with Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast before it gets better. problem with the moustache. You get an errant hair that just goes beep in your nose. Tickles it. Not fun. I think they also invested a lot of money into movies, producing movies, and it didn't go as they wanted. So, fair enough, Catsport. It's so difficult to decide when to stream. So I decided I start at 6 o'clock in the evening. It's after dinner, so there shouldn't be any more interruptions after dinner and that sort of thing. But trying to get a perfect time so that most of my audience will be awake or willing to watch a stream is very difficult. Yep. Paul, that's exactly where I am. Johannesburg. Although, you say that, but all of South Africa's on the same time, so it doesn't really matter. Fair enough, Chemansky. What am I doing? Wraiths. It's not what I want. What do I want? We'll go with that one. Sure. Now, the question is... Fair enough, James Foley. I can imagine. It is always a difficult... symbol abomination. Sounds good. I think we'll save the slot for that. Yeah, that sounds good to me. Good to me. Cool. But yeah, I mean, timing is always tricky with an international audience. Most of my audience comes from the States, so I do try to plan around that. But I mean, optimal time would be like 3 o'clock in the morning for me, which would make it midday, early evening in parts of the States, which is not quite great. Close to Santon. Not in Santon, nowhere near that, Lani. Up until 6 months ago, I lived about 10 kilometers, 15 kilometers from Johannesburg CBD. But since then, I've moved away from there. It's definitely interesting times living that close to the CBD. Well, I mean, my emergency sinus surgery, that's when I decided to move. That night that I was in hospital and my wife was alone at home, basically, there was a crime spree shall we say, quite a bad crime spree. And there's nothing I could do about it because I was stuck in hospital. So I was like, okay, we're moving. Yeah, stuff and things can get quite hectic out there. Although, I mean, I've gone weeks without hearing gunshots. So that's something. Yeah. Oh, for the love of... Well, we're as safe as we can be. We have started immigration procedures to get out of the country entirely. So hopefully that goes well. We were trying to get into the UK, which we tried for 18 months. Due to some circumstances, made that almost impossible. So now we're looking at Portugal. Look, I mean, if people are shooting for recreational purposes, that's one thing. In my old house on the weekends, there would be tons of shootings. Not recreational. Well, I suppose it depends on whose perspective you're asking about, but it was rough. Thank you, Chemansky. Fair enough, Harley. Fair enough. No, I just thought it would be easier because I'm first generation South African and I've got my ancestral visa through my mom and dad. So I do have my British passport, so I figured it might be easier to get in there because I had a British passport, but no. The British invented red tape and they will not let the world forget it. Because they always find new and inventive ways of using it. For the beginning part, we'll probably be on the southern cities, one of the southern cities, because part of the immigration process is we need a 1-year lease before entering the country. So we would have to have a lease. So I want to move to one of the southern areas because apparently most people speak English. So that'll give my dumbass some time to learn some Portuguese. And then once that's up, we'll probably move into central Portugal. So that my dad can homestead. He's made it clear that that's what he wishes to do with his retirement. He wants to have a little homesteading farm thing and pitter-patter about, and I'm not going to argue. He deserves it. So I'm going to work to make that a reality. I'm pretty sure. I mean, gunshots all the time is not great. Paul, the other thing is a lot of the British immigration laws have changed in the last 6 months. So I don't know whether that would even be valid. Yeah. I mean, he wanted, and I speak strictly from memory, a homestead that backed up to an old grove forest in America where
Can I help you?
he could retire, have fun, and do all the stuff he wanted to do. But America is not on the board for immigration. And getting that in England is expensive. Really expensive. So Portugal's good. Also has a more temperate climate. Not miserable like England. I mean, my main hesitation was, English is my first language, and my dumbass does not learn new languages quickly or easily. Just ask anybody who's tried to teach me Afrikaans. I learned enough to pass, and that's it. That was 20 years ago. I haven't gotten any better. But it is what it is. I think learning a language when you're part of the culture, when you're there and people are speaking it conversationally, is a lot easier anyway. I'm not sure about the long-term effects of legalizing all drugs, but from everything I read, it's going okay. But I know from personal experience that the news that makes it out of a country isn't all the news. But once we stay in Portugal for 5 years, we should get our European passports, and if it is bad or gets worse, we can always move to somewhere else in Europe. It's all about how easy it is to immigrate there. The nice thing about Portugal is they have the D7 passport, which is the digital nomad passport, which if you earn international money, you can get a visa. Easy visa. I earn international money because of YouTube, so it makes the process relatively easy. Unfortunately, YouTube generator is not on the wanted skill list of most countries, so getting permanent residence is not that easy. If I were a plumber, it would be a different story. I've heard about that renegade. It's, yeah. I've seen it personally. Botswana has a very similar problem to Canada. I'm going to say Canada. I suppose it's not entirely wrong. Where most of the properties are ridiculously expensive. As it is, moving to Portugal, the cost of living is 2 to 3 times more than South Africa. So that'll definitely be an adjustment. Yeah, if I had a passport, I could probably just go to the Netherlands, but I'm sure that their immigration process requires some stuff. From our research, Portugal's definitely one of the easier ones to get into, especially dragging the whole family with. Not currently cat's paws, but we do plan on having some kids. It's a giant crab. My only real kind of worry about Portugal is apparently they suffer from wildfires quite badly. And it does affect properties and property prices and the like. So, I mean, every country has its own eccentricities, I suppose. Fair enough. Well, I suppose that works, cat paws. Yeah, unions I'm used to. South Africa is run by them, and I don't even mean that in a figurative way. That is quite literally some of the most dangerous unions in the world. I would go so far as to say. I'm not sure what causes the fires in Portugal. I think it's rainfall, and then also forest management, and then people. This game is called The Last Epoch. Well, it's called Last Epoch, not The Last Epoch. Same genre as Diablo. So, also similar to Path of Exile and the like. Currently one of the more popular ARPGs on the market. It's okay. I'm having fun. I'm playing it because it offers something on screen and doesn't take all my attention, so that I can chat with chat. Which is the main point of all of this, is to have a chin wag with all you guys, and girls, and mental gents, and ladies, and everything in between. I can understand that. Although, I live in a place that doesn't really experience true cold. I think the coldest it gets around here is like -1. C, not Fahrenheit. Time for some hydration. Thank you very much, Staben. I'm glad the content is enjoyable. And I'm glad you're watching them. Time for my second berry bell. This is... No. No, not really. Other than a IP content that made the creator an insane amount of money. Other than that, not much. I do know there's a whole lore behind it and everything, but I haven't really had the inclination to find out. Alright, not chewing anymore. So, I've seen snow twice in my lifetime. And it is... No, I've seen it once in my lifetime. Twice. It has snowed twice in the area that I'm in the last 30, 40, 42 years. So, snow is not super common. Hail, on the other hand, that is super common. Hurts a lot more than snow, I must admit. What are you? A 1970s pirate. Jameltoon, we're getting there. Physio every day, helping strengthen the voice. Streams help build stamina. So yeah, we're getting there every day. Still be a little while before we're back to recording videos. Excuse me. And then it'll still be quite a while before we are back to a full recording schedule. But each day is a little better than the last. No. Leave me alone. We don't have... South Africa, in the grand scheme of things, is quite lucky like that. We don't really have earthquakes. We have tremors. which is caused by sinkholes and mine shafts collapsing. I think that goes generally around 4 to 5 on the shakeometer. We do have the occasional tornado, but it's very, very like rare event that it happens. Don't have cold weather. We do have flash floods though, but that's the nature of a semi-arid area.
This has gone on long enough. Be gone!
No?
Yes. Ah, I see you helped clear out the rabble down there. I thank you for your efforts.
I don't want to go away. Dreadshade. You mean it's health strength? We'll give that a spin. What are we doing? What are we doing? Ooh, well, we're at 60 viewers. Hello, 60 people. I think your cat's probably doing cat-like things, which is getting into mischief. Fair enough, Chemansky. Fair enough. Doot. Really not professional. Leave my phone on not silent, but there is a reason for it. My old house, the one we moved out of, the one I'm currently selling, has a security guard and a security system, so I need to have my phone on all the time in case something happens again. Good. That is a very good thing to sort out, James. You never want to accidentally step in something that you don't want to step in. So I think the scariest single weather event that I've experienced was 10 years ago. There was a hour-long hailstorm where the hail was about that big. It hit the whole area. I mean, you couldn't drive in it. You couldn't do anything. Thankfully, we weren't driving at the time. We were in a store. But for half an hour, 45 minutes, just these cricket ball, slightly bigger than cricket ball sized hail, just nailed everything. Destroyed houses. It was so bad that the area that happened in, the insurance companies took 2 years to replace all the roofs of all the houses in that area just because there was so much damage. There was supply problems with the materials. So yeah, that was fun. Again, just lucky that we weren't driving or walking in that. It's very similar. It is, what do you call it? Supercell clouds, which is common here. So hail is super common, thunderstorms are super common. And hail, they're just not necessarily that size. That day just happened to be a day where we got big hail. Yes, Jamansky, that was orbital bombardment. It was actually so bad, the shop that we were in had a tin roof. And at the crescendo of it all, my wife talking directly into my ear, and I could barely hear her. That's how loud it was. It was on another level. And then I was standing there, and everybody in the shop was standing at the front of the shop with the big glass windows so they could see what's happening. And I was like, nah, fuck that shit. I'm going to go stand in the middle of the store away from anything that's glass, because one hailstone has to go through that glass, and you're going to get a face full of glass and not have a good day. But common sense isn't necessarily that common. Look, we get like normal hail all the time. It very much depends on where you are in Gauteng or in Johannesburg. But during summer, to have, I don't know, a dozen or so hailstorms is not uncommon. Maybe even closer to 2 dozen hailstorms. Normally it's a quantity thing, so we've had on several occasions had hail that was this deep. Where am I? Yeah. So you look outside and it's just white, like snow, but it's hail, and the hail is that deep on the floor. That sounds quite scary, Chemansky. Harley, sorry. Not all that long. We were in the middle of the store when it started happening. We walked to the front, saw what was happening, and walked back to the middle of the store.
I'm glad you are safe. I see that would not be wise. Liath's been known to be.
Gods be with you.
Though I see her as a friend, she will consider me as a friend.
Tornadoes are a fascinating thing. Even though I don't expect, even the science of earthquakes is quite interesting.
Farewell.
I'm just glad it doesn't happen here.
These waters are dangerous.
The traveler sets sail, eager to make it to the Isle of Storms.
Fair enough, Harley. That makes sense. Okay. Did I crash the game again? Did I push the button too quickly? Thank you, Will W. It's my pleasure. Thank you for popping past, spending some time with us, having a chit-chat, a chin-wag, a lollygag, whatever you want to call it. It's very much appreciated. I think I crashed the game again. Yeah. Mother Nature is the most terrifying thing. I mean, extreme weather-wise, we're okay. I mean, maybe heat temperature, we go up to 40s, 45, I think it's the record, 46. But it's not as hot as Australia. We have earth tremors, but it's nowhere near as bad as tectonically active places. Yes, we crashed the game again. Yay. Come on. Let's go full screen while I ask this game quite nicely to please work, game, please work. Okay. That's not good, James, but I'm glad you made it out. This is two Jameses. James Fowley. Or Foley, whichever one. Not sure which way you prefer it pronounced. Mr. Foley? Fowley? That must have been pretty gruesome, James. I do not envy you. I don't want to go there. I want to go over there. Sell stuff. Give me.
Take care.
Nope, I apparently muted my microphone. That's interesting. Okay, so I have no idea how far back that went. Hello? Hello? Can anybody hear me? It must have been when I was trying to sort out the game that I accidentally hit the mute button. Oh no, must have hit it on my keyboard because the shortcut's working now. Okay, so the question is, did I get any restrictions of food and drink after the surgery? The answer is no, I did not. Mainly because I do suffer from acid reflux, so my diet is restricted anyways, because acid on vocal cords is bad. So the doctor didn't really have to do any restrictions on my diet. Well, mine was actually affecting my voice. Very similar to Corpse Husband, really, I'd imagine, from what I've heard. The acid was getting onto my vocal cords, so I was inflaming the vocal cords and causing excess mucus on the vocal cords. So 2 years ago, at the start of my voice recovery procedure, the first thing they did was try to get my acid reflux under control, which we've now pretty much done. Some days it just gets a mood and does its own thing, but for the most part, it's under control. And then after we fixed the acid reflux, that's when they discovered the partial vocal cord paralysis. So it's been an interesting 18 months, 2 years. Antacid. There you go. Within arm's reach. The strongest one on the market that we can find. Yeah, so, I mean, we eat quite early, so it's never really been a problem for me. It's more certain foods set off the acid reflux a lot worse. So we eat at about 4 to 5 in the afternoon, and I go to bed at about 10. But that was also a thing that needed to be sorted out. When I started the channel, I was working 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. I would get 4 hours of sleep at night, and then maybe an hour or two during the day, because I have chronic insomnia, which affects the vocal cords. So whilst we were fixing the acid reflux, we had to fix the sleeping as well. So I try very hard to stick to it, even though my body does not like sleep at all. Well, without enough sleep, the voice does not recover. So, yeah, fun times. Look, I mean, I don't have the worst acid reflux. I think mine was constant enough that it affected my vocal cords. That's pretty much it. But I think at that time, because of all the other stuff going on health-wise, everything was affecting my vocal cords. But it's been mostly learning, you know, which specific foods set off my acid reflux and then staying away from them. Even if they do taste delicious. Paul, they did. I did the swallow test as well. That was an experience. Scared the hell out of me. Where they give you chalk to drink, and they take an active image while you're drinking the liquid chalk. And the test itself was no problem. It was after the test was, yeah, not fun. But when I'd had my first voice surgery, the temporary one, they also did a scope to the stomach. While I do have a hernia in the stomach valve, it is not significant enough to warrant surgery. Fair enough, cat's paws. I mean, I can understand that. Vomit, burps, and all that stuff's not fun. Or just the general burning sensation. Or the heart attack-like symptoms. That's also not fun. I had those as well. Shooting pains down my arm. Numbness. Excruciating pain in the chest. You know, the fun stuff. Dairy doesn't really do much for me. Acidic stuff does, to a degree. Like, I can't drink orange juice. Cannot. Well, I can drink orange juice. I'll just instantly get acid reflux and it'll last for days. So most fruit juices are off for me. Onions, that's also a no-go for me. Even though I like onions. And then also super spicy food, curries, and stuff like that. Not necessarily hot, but spicy. Yeah. Basically. I mean, the first time it happened to me, I was in my 20s. And I was faint. I had excruciating pain in my left chest. I had shooting pains up my arm. And I went to the ER and they stuck an ECG on me. EEG, electrocardiograph, ECG. And they're like, nope, it's acid reflux. And you go, oh. You feel so embarrassed. Time for some rehydration. Very true, Trumansky. Very true. Better embarrassed than dead. I haven't found anything like that, James Foley. So tomato does set it off, but onions it definitely sets off my acid reflux. A lot of my medical problems I lived with for 20 years. But not too much of a problem. But all of these things affect the voice, and now the voice is the thing that brings the money in, so now I have to be a diva, which, yeah, is something that has taken a lot of getting used to. Thinking that the voice is something that I need to protect at almost all costs. So now we have a sleep schedule that I stick to religiously. I have foods that I avoid religiously. We have medications I take every day for the rest of my life, just so the old pipes stay nice and clean. I mean, coming from a trade family and personally going to a trade school, becoming a bit of a diva with the voice thing, an actor, if you will. I won't. Very weird. It's also very not where I saw my life heading. But we are here, so we do what we can. Good evening, DeSoto. I hope you're well. So, I mean, I've personally found that avoiding the specific foods, has made life a lot easier than trying to fix the symptoms once you've eaten the bad foods. So my day-to-day life now is a lot better. So we're eating better, healthier food. Doesn't set off the acid reflux. But there are some days where just it has a mood, shall we say. And for those days, we have copious amounts of antacid. Fair enough, James. I can understand that. Kill him. Kill. I think with any type of food sensitivity, restaurants do become a bit challenging. Especially if it's not common. Well, that's always going to happen. It's like I don't particularly like tomatoes, but whenever I order a burger, I eat the tomato because asking for no tomato on a burger, 50% of the time people forget. So I either just take the tomato out or eat it. Not the best choice, but it is what it is. Well, I mean, protein doesn't break down into sugar, whereas carbs and dairy do break down into sugar, so there is that.
Farewell.
This sounds like an untuned piano to me. I could be wrong. I'm not a fan. Untuned piano. It very well may be. Let me just double check. Where are we? No, we're not on repeat yet. We're halfway through. I think we've still got another good chunk of tracks. They added a whole bunch recently, so I think it could be that. That's unfortunate to Soda. Not great. Good evening, Dustin. I hope you're doing well. It is Last Epoch, Desoda. Just recently moved from early access to full title. Alright, that's 2.5 hours. We've just reached a waypoint, which I think is actually a good point to go back to. I'll just exit the game. Exit. Right. I think we'll... The last couple minutes we'll sit, have a chat. I exited the game so fast that it crashed, which is... I don't know, I have mixed feelings on that. I would like to thank you all for spending your evening with me. It is much appreciated. I will be back tomorrow. Same time, same place. Hopefully tomorrow the beginning of the stream does a bit better than today. But all in all, I think we had a nice stream. We had a nice chat. Some interesting things. And yeah. 2.5 hours seems to be the limit quite now. So, I mean, it's starting to get a bit achy. We'll see what it's like tomorrow. But hopefully next week we can push it up to 3 hours. And then after that, we can start recording again. So I hope you all have a fantastic one. Thank you for spending your time with me. I'll see you all tomorrow. Cheers.